what, what I'm doing right now, I thought the other day, I said, I used to do this crap. It's just talking and, disclosing old stories. But there's an audience for that I found out a year or 2 years ago. But this is the same stuff I used to do going up and down the road every day with the audience of three or two, maybe sometimes myself alone. I do the show for myself by myself. Sometimes I have caught myself talking to myself on some of these long drives. I mean, these drives were, that's what the younger talent in wrestling today, they don't quite understand. We used to do this not, see, they do it like 4 days a week and they fly and they stay in a nice hotel and they go, they go to the tapings and everything's catered and then they want to bitch and moan about, oh, I don't want to do that and I don't want to do this and oh, why am I with him? And brother, we used to drive 200, 300 miles a day one way. Get there, it might be 5,000 people there. They might be 50. We had no way of knowing. And then we'd have, but that's only half of it. Then you had to drive back. And you imagine driving 250 miles, it takes you about 4.5 hours. You get there, you're tired. Then you go in there and you wouldn't really wrestle that long, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You put a match on, then you go take a shower back in the car. Because you spent the majority of that day behind the wheel of a car when you're tired. And it's a damn wonder more of us weren't killed on those late night drives. Because some of those drives, I pulled over many times, said, I can't make this. And I would pass out in the car. And I'd sleep there an hour, maybe an hour and a half, wake up, feel a little better, and then try to finish the trip. I did that one night, slept an hour and a half, woke up. I felt, like I said, a little better, got behind the car, drove 10 minutes. I said, screw it. I can't make it. Pulled over at the next rest area and slept another hour. I got home, I think, like 7 o'clock in the morning.
So. But that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, I know this is like nothing to do with it, but I flew an hour and a half here. Then we had to get the rent-a-car, which is from a company called Rent-a-Wreck, where they rent you cars that have like been dinged up, and they give you a discount. And that was 2 hours. And I was wiped out after that. I mean, how you guys did it, day in and day out. I can't believe it.
You were wiped out renting the car.
Yeah. Oh, you should have seen the asphalt. It was just nothing but ice as well. So I just stood in the corner and let things come to me.
Oh yeah, we went in all kinds of weather too. We went in ice storms. Here's a story. Me and Stone Cold Steve Austin were making Memphis. And the weather forecast come in and it was saying, it was a bad storm. And I even called up before. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have nothing. We didn't even have telegraph. Actually, we should have used smoke signals. We'd have probably communicated better. So me and Steve, we start out to Memphis and we drive, and then the weather starts getting a little worse toward Memphis. And I said, man, but there's nobody to call. So we get all the way to Memphis and we pull into the parking lot, and there was about an inch of snow on the ground and some ice. And Lawler is leaving the parking lot as we're going in. I said, are we working tonight? He said, no, you idiot. There's an inch of snow on the ground. We canceled it. Called me an idiot, which I felt like an idiot. So we turn around. We no sooner had gotten there. We're leaving. We get back on the road, and it was on the way in, it was getting worse, but it was moving eastward. Now we're going westward with the storm. We go about, I guess, 80 miles, and they just shut it down. They shut the whole interstate down. And me and Mr. Stone Cold himself, he still tells the story. We pull into a truck stop, and we spend the night inside the truck stop. Nobody coming in, you know. I mean, they were real. I ate as much as I could, drank as much coffee as I could. And I got home that morning, I think about 10 o'clock in the morning. Crazy. And he still tells that story.
It's probably the first time he'd ever seen snow as well.
And I think we were in his car and his heater was broken. This is when he first got to business. He'd come up from Texas and, you know, he wasn't driving the nicest vehicle because he wasn't making any money. None of us were making any money anyway. But anyway, that was the life of a pro wrestler back in the 80s.